Bueno, muchísimas gracias.
Thank you very much. Thank you. It was beautiful. Congratulations, Vladislav. While they put their headsets on, we'll introduce ourselves. We are the curators of this exhibition on the 4th floor, Tesla and the Future. With these short movies, we can have an idea and have a good picture of Tesla. And for those who didn't know it, after watching these short movies, you can see how seducing it can get to be. So we've brought these 3 samples as 3 international samples. We've included them in the exhibition, and one of the areas of the exhibition we have a sample of all the references related to Tesla in contemporary culture. And there is examples of graffiti, cinema, comic stripes, etc. And most of the people who lent their pieces did it in a voluntary way, and we got samples from Canada, Thailand, several countries in Central Europe, Spain. It's a cross-country, cross-section person. He's right in the middle point where creation or creativity meets art and science. And we support that idea. We support that science is also culture. It also belongs to culture. And this is what this exhibition shows. It is quite shocking that when people found out about this exhibition in Madrid, they were really glad and they all wanted to give a hand. We knew personally Vladislav, but we hadn't met Elena or Robert before. We met them for this exhibition. It was quite funny because on Tuesday we picked Robert up at the airport, and then we went back and picked Robert, because we met Elena in the morning and then Robert later on the same day. So we all went for dinner all together, people from different countries, different cultures, different ages, different experiences as well. And within 5 minutes of meeting, we started talking about Tesla, and we all had some common ideas. We had something to share, and it was something truly remarkable. It goes beyond the exhibition in itself. It is much more than just a sample of some pieces of art. And this is something I would like to propose to start the discussion with. All 3, in their own different way, have turned a personal project, a very important personal project, which was different to the rest of the things they used to do. For instance, Robert started doing this short movie, and his great project is to turn it into a long film. And Elena has been traveling the world for 9 years, going after these people, and I think she has a few of them more in mind. I think she has some more targets, and I think she's after Jack White and several other important people. And as to Vladislav, I think that's his first great creative project, and he's put in a lot of effort, and he's working with a great team and great motivation. So all 3 are great projects, and all 3 of them have decided to take their inspiration from Tesla. So I would like to ask you, why Tesla? Why precisely him? Why was he your first... why would you choose him to make your first big project? Robert, for instance?
There's 2 things that inspired me about Tesla that drew me to him is, and one is because I've grown up in a family of environmentalists, and it appealed to me on that level that this man, way back when, had some great ideas for basically giving the planet energy in such a way that it would not pollute. I think that drove him to a great extent. And the other aspect that appealed to me as an artist was this kind of tragedy that he was bad at business but great at his art. And I connected very deeply on both those levels. And also the fact that he was a forgotten person. I mean, I hadn't heard of him until prior to this project, and I was like, why haven't I? You know, why hasn't everybody? Because we've all heard of Edison and Marconi. So it became a mission.
For me, well, actually, I can relate with Marina Abramović because I grew up with Tesla in Croatia, Serbia. Tesla is like Superman. We all know about him. And at a certain point of my life, I was working on another film project, and I had my composer based in New York. And he asked me to recommend him something to read, like friendly chat, stuff like that. And I asked him, did he ever heard about Nikola Tesla? And he said, no. And I was like, oh la la, that's not good. And then I bought him through Amazon, Margaret Cheney biography, of course. That's the book to start with. And then I realized, do I really know enough about Tesla? You know, you grow up, it's like normal, and you don't really pay attention. And then I ordered the book to myself, and we started reading it together. I was in Zagreb, he was in New York. And all of a sudden, strange things start happening to him. Not that much strange, but he was reading in a subway, you know. New York is full of all kinds of people. And people were coming to him, telling him about Tesla. And he got completely into it. He went to all locations. He was reporting me what is on that locations. And I said, well, we start working on something which is much bigger than we are, because I was doing my research by reading the book. I just found out that Laurie Anderson was inspired by him, that Terry Gilliam thinks a lot about him in his work, Marina Abramović, and me as a visual artist. Those are all people that inspired me, actually. And that was for me the impulse. I wanted to go deeper into that impulse and to see exactly, because all these like points we know, wireless energy, free energy, no money, free ideas, blah, blah. That's all something that you can omit and that you can take it for granted, actually. And then I start my digging, and it's 9 years. And what we watched, actually, it's an exposition cut. So it's not supposed to be watched linearly. So you can watch online some other clips. So what I did, I commissioned 7 art pieces. And then the project just expanded. Then, that's what you said at the beginning, the creativity, inspiration that we find in all these classics from all the arts, just start to go through all of us. That was an amazing experience, actually.
Branislav.
Well, in Serbia, Tesla is a kind of cult person. Tesla is everywhere. I went to Nikola Tesla High School. I grew up in Nikola Tesla Street. When we fly, we going to Nikola Tesla Airport. There is a lot of Tesla's monuments. Our currency has Nikola Tesla's face. So, like Helena said, he's something that you just don't recognize as something special because he's always there. So that's the one part. And second part is actually I start to draw something. I will try when I'm try to relax myself. I'm drawing something. So I start to draw something like just picture from imagination, and draw the character by the piano, and on the window, and there is some city, and start to drawing some lights, and imagine, maybe the person with piano can somehow with music change the world around. That was not a Tesla, just some person. And then I want to draw more, and then I draw a little mustache to this person, and suddenly, oh, this is Tesla. And the whole story was actually explanation of that one picture.
Can I just, do you know that Tesla said that if he will be born again, he will be composer?
No, thank you for that.
So, es curioso como Tesla.
It's funny how Tesla, being an underground movement, because he's much more than just a character. He's an underground movement. He's an icon, and as such, he's lost the ability to define himself. It is to us. We all have to define him. We have, we own him. He's the perfect container of our dreams and aspirations. There are many reasons why he's inspiring. Why is that so? What features are there to him, to the way he looks, to what he's done, to what he means? Why has he become like a virus that has been contagious to all of us? There is an essay, a preface to his biography, and even if I knew some basic things, and for instance he's in the Moon Palace by Paul Auster, and he's everywhere. Terry Gilliam talks about him, and you start seeing him everywhere. What's about him, Robert?
Well, I have a feeling that the internet has a lot to do with the sort of the growing of his the knowledge of him, and also his legend. And there's a definitely kind of myth and legend growing around him, because if you see anything to do with Tesla on the internet, you will see all sorts of back and forth discussion among people that are bringing all kinds of strange arguments to the situation, and people thinking they know he was this, and people that say he was that. I mean, most of us here have read the books like Margaret Cheney and Mark Seifer and others, John O'Neill, and there's commonalities in these in all these books. And those commonalities are part of the legend that has grown up, and we go, okay, he was this and he was that, but there's all these other gaps that are being filled in between, and they're open to interpretation. And I think that you know, everyone that sort of idolizes Tesla is guilty to a degree of adding to the legend.
Well, I can quote Terry Gilliam now. It's about energy that's floating around us, I guess. So that's actually something that you can experience when you decide to deal with Tesla. You get into his life, you read books, you think you know something, then all of a sudden you find yourself floating through something that is like lightning. I'm not talking about anything superstitious or whatever, but just your mind gets so intense, because digging about him, he's such a metaphorical figure that you just can go into so many directions. And if you're a creative person, and if you're a professional artist, you can really end up exploring yourself and world from different perspective. And that was for me something which was really, when we started reading that book together, then we realized that we're really tickling into something which is bigger than us. And that is this essence of Tesla that's becoming right now very popular among young people, like underground force of free will, of free energy, of free human beings. something that we can say now most of humanity is missing, like this idea to end up wars, to bring peace to the world. Tesla talks about no copyright system more than 100-something years ago, like sharing ideas, sharing your knowledge, being helpful to those who are not strong like you. That's something like, that's what I like when I was talking with the people who achieve something, who are also highly creative, when they pointing out that the reason why he was like this is because he was son of the priest. So he obviously had some natural talents to sense the nature as a physician and as a scientist on a different level, and combining that with open-minded spirituality that was within his family. I think that's something that completely fit with the young people, with young generation of those days, because we are, let's say, adults, grown-up adults that can't give answers to our kids. How life gonna look like because some idiot can push the red button and we can explode tomorrow. But if we embrace Tesla way of living and thinking, which is shareable, which is not egoistic and selfish, then we can descend into new era of human civilization, which is not just technological. And that's something I think that is really amazing about Tesla. And if you're young and if you're facing reality today, Tesla is just like your hero. That's like, you know, because he achieved everything. He's not like theorist, philosopher. He did it. And people doing it today. Among all other things, he was a big mind. That's really like...
I will tell in Serbian and Emiliano will help to translate. Help me, but translate this. Mislim da recimo kao što se 50. i 60. godina DC Comics, čuvena kuća za izdavanje stripova, su pokrenuli čitavu plejadu superheroja, zato što se u to vreme pojavila potreba u čovječanstvu za borbom protiv zločina i nepravde.
Branislav thinks that in the 50s and 60s, in the 20th century, when they started publishing comic strips, at that point there arose an idea about crimes, an idea of developing crimes, actually.
Očigledno potreba da čovečanstvo projektuje svoju potrebu u stvari na određene likove.
And humanity was projecting its needs on certain roles, on certain figures. And that need is like a struggle against all evil that exists in humanity. It's a struggle against crimes, against bad businesses, which is more or less the same that Elena was talking about. And all of us have a scientist within us. And this is a perception that we want to spread worldwide. Nowadays, all information is available. We can search anything on the internet and find out about a character or about a personality or about anything practically. For Branislav, how Tesla really was is not really that important as how people perceive him nowadays. That's all from me. Thank you. I would like to take this chance, because this is not a very artisty question, but since we have you here and since we've done so many interviews, we have able to notice that this is a question that arises from time to time, and perhaps you could be able to provide some answers for us. This is something that journalists ask about quite often, and it's actually quite curious. You are the living proof that there is quite a lot of interest in creating works of art that have to do with Tesla. There's an increasing number of productions that are seeking funding. Many have to do with a biographic component. They want to tell us what Tesla's life was all about. But until now, apart from the Yugoslavian movie, The Secret of Nikola Tesla, dated 1980, I think it was, the only big production that there is The Final Trick by Prestige that cannot be considered, at any rate, a truthful reflection of what Nikola Tesla really was. Nevertheless, a character with a life that seems to be written by a script writer. Apparently his life was like a true script that we could create a movie with. This biopic has not been created by Hollywood yet. So why do you think this is the case? Why do you think we don't yet have that blockbuster yet that finally puts Tesla in the position that it deserves in human heritage, so to speak, in our collective thoughts? Because we were talking about this with a lady, and she said, you know what, I think Tesla started cloning hats, but then he cloned cats, I think. Well, those of you who watched the movie, you know the reason for this. But why does that blockbuster not exist yet? You don't have to be orderly in your answers. You can answer randomly, if you will.
I think that what Hollywoods do is promoting American lifestyle and culture, and Tesla is exactly the opposite. And if they will go into promotion of Tesla, they will say, okay, we did it wrong all in the last 150 years. Sorry, humanity, we may maybe change it now. And Hollywood's not going to do that, because we hear through the interviews also what Samantha Hunt says, America, it's fantastic, it's a land of opportunity, but mainly it's all about money. It's a heavy capitalistic, heavy copyright, heavy personal, egoistic society that doesn't pay attention to poorer, to those who are in needs, that just pay attention to elite. And that's exactly what Tesla was devoting his life against that. And this is something I think that at the turn of the century, when Morgan stopped financing his patents, it was just because it was such a misunderstanding. He couldn't understand Tesla. Like, what does he guys want to give to humanity? Those are just a bunch of people that we had to abuse and use to develop something for elite. You know, so if you think in that way, then I think Hollywood is scared about that. Maybe big biopic gonna be produced and debunk the whole American society. But I heard, I think Terry Gilliam told me, I heard that Steven Spielberg bought the rights to Margaret Cheney. We know that Lynch's thinking for a long time to do that. So those are names they can convince Hollywood. Maybe it's if Hollywood would find out how they can make money from Tesla film, they will do 3, 4, 5 versions, sequels. Don't worry, don't worry.
I have a lot of experience with this question, actually, because I've written a feature-length script and I've had it. I've been trying to sell it for years, and I've taken it to Hollywood, and I have managed to get it to some big producers, not Spielberg, but some other ones, and usually the reaction is, well, first it would be very expensive to do. I mean, the script that I wrote is a reflection of Tesla's life. Was actually, it would be expensive to reproduce, to do it properly. I mean, he lived in the Waldorf Astoria, and it's a very, they call it a period film in Hollywood, and then all the experiments. He caused an earthquake in Manhattan. he reversed lightning in Colorado, a lot of big spectacular stuff that you would think, well, this is perfect for Hollywood. And the character himself is as an eccentric, an actor would love to play this guy. So it's been a mystery to me for, why some of these producers, they would, usually the answer was, it's a great script, but I don't know what to do with it. I go, well, you're a big producer, you should know what to do with it. I had a talk with an experienced, an old screenwriter, and he says, ever since Tesla died, there have been screenplays floating around Hollywood about Tesla. And I says, well, why hasn't anyone made them? And he says, well, Hollywood is full of idiots. But, still that answer didn't satisfy me. I think it's, it is really about the dollar value. Because another producer said to me, for the same money that we could put into the Tesla story, we could make Fast and Furious and be guaranteed a profit. So, it really takes, it would take a director with a lot of clout or an actor with a lot of clout. I mean, you could get like somebody like Ron Howard making A Beautiful Mind, which is somewhat the same story and not really a box office story, but it takes somebody like that to be passionate. And for instance, I'm surprised like Terry Gilliam hasn't taken the idea to Hollywood. Maybe he has, and maybe they still think, oh, nah, Terry Gilliam, Tesla, I don't know.
Fisherman King is a Tesla guy, then Theorem Zero, the last Terry Gilliam movie. It's completely, it's a kind of, Tesla is very transformable. And biopic on Tesla, I think it's also, I speak with Christo Papic, the director of the Yugoslavian biopic on Tesla. And when he saw my piece, the other experts, he said that, oh, wow, that's what I had as a problem while doing my film. It's difficult to, through the actor and through the filmmaking tools, to keep that mystery, which is basically, as we heard from the interviews, which is basis of his inspiration for creatives. So it can also be a reason why there is no any other feature-length film, let's say, like Terry Gilliam or Jim Jarmusch, who are all tickling on him and Lynch. It could be fun. I would like to see of each of them versions of Tesla. But it's not easy to go into the linear feature-length, you writing a script and it's not an easy task, I think.
It's not an easy task, but it's not impossible. It's hard to structure. I found it was hard to structure a story because, especially for Hollywood, but they like to see a story structure that is all about the desire line. They call it the desire line. And it's like, oh, what does our hero want? And what are the obstacles? And does he get it in the end? And basically this is the story. And so if you can figure that out, you have the story. And to me, it was a rise and fall. So it's a tragedy, but Hollywood has still made tragedies. But it's about a man, to me, I could structure it like he created electricity, and it was a victory. So now he rises to the top. And then he dabbles in wireless, and it's a rep going. And then he meets Morgan, and he realizes the downfall is the business aspect. And but in trying to put both electricity and wireless together to create his biggest dream, which is wireless energy, he didn't succeed in that because the powers that be brought him down. And so to me, this is the desire, the obstacles, and the end, But maybe the problem is it's maybe too tragic, or it's, I don't know.
I think there is no problem. There is actually 2 movies, blockbusters. They're coming next year from Hollywood, with big actors, with big names. One will be made by Disney. It's Futureland. the name. Tomorrowland, yes. And one of the main character, they still don't talk about that, but one of the main character is Tesla there, and it's a big movie with George Clooney and the stars. And there is a second one that will be partly shooting in Belgrade. I don't know who is the stars, but both will be screening the next year. But we don't need Hollywood for that. We can made it in some studios in Serbia, Croatia, and here in Spain, in the co-production. Actually, the one of the main goal of mine short movie is to show that we can, with very small crew, made and with very small budget, made something that can be competitive with the big American studios. So we just need to find the budget, and I'm already writing a script almost a year for the feature movie. It is for the kids, like this one, but it will be a feature movie about Tesla. So we don't need Hollywood.
Sí. Respecto a eso, hay una anécdota que nos contó Vladimir Jelenkovich, el entonces director del Museo Nikola Tesla de Belgrado, cuando estuvimos allí. Recuerda que cuando Disney iba a hacer El aprendiz de brujo, esta película...
When Disney was going to do this other movie with Nikola Tesla, and this is a movie that was not so good. Apparently, Disney's lawyers went to the Tesla Museum and they met with the museum director. And Vladimir told us that they did so to ask for the copyright in order to be able to use pictures and different materials that the museum had, and which is part of their collection. Disney actually wanted to pay so that those pictures, that Colorado Spring picture with the lightning and so on, they wanted this picture to become exclusive for them while they were filming the movie, and the museum couldn't use it. They were offering tons of money. And this is quite an obvious image that goes to show that the army of lawyers from Disney doesn't really care if it's a supermarket chain, a museum, or a bike manufacturing company. They just try to purchase it. And Bratislav actually mentioned this. Partly Elena did so too. They said that this uprise of Tesla has gone hand in hand with underground culture and counterculture, as we could call it. This is like the first rescue operation took place in the 70s, as Branislav said. And this was done by a young generation that was really disappointed in the 60s. The American generation, they were really disappointed with the official approach that their culture have. And the nemesis of Harrison was really embodying the official story that had been imposed to them. And the anti-hero was Tesla for that counterculture. So Tesla became a revolutionary icon. It was similar to Jesus Christ, Che Guevara. It was an icon of that kind. And actually, back in our day, in the last decade, I would say, there is an extra current, a different current, which is also an underground current that is really pivoting around the internet, and that really focuses on Tesla, on those values that can be related to him, such as freedom, free use of energy, that are opposite, that are the other side of the capitalist culture. They're completely opposite. That's represented by Edison and corporations that actually support it. So this is the nemesis, and actually this has made Tesla almost become a world heritage, a heritage for those of us who are trying to create a culture, often not taking into account the profit that we could obtain from creating this culture. And sometimes it goes against our own interests, but this is necessary to do, I think. Which have been your references in this counterculture, in this movement? In different media, in comics or whatnot, what things are representative of that Tesla recovery, so to speak, for you? And also, additionally, How does an independent film director use a limited budget to create these works of art? How do we balance freedom, freedom of creation with alarming need to pay our crew and to finance actually our works, and especially feature films, which are very costly?
I don't know. I can.
¿Qué caritas han puesto?
Well, so you see that Disney want to buy a copyright for the image just for themselves.
Yes, Vladimir,
That's I organize the riots against that because it's like, come on.
Obviously, Vladimir says no.
Of course, because you see, that's America. It's all about money. And when you said like making a profit. If we, the word profit, we put it with the money because we are trained to do that. But profit is profit. So what is profit for me is not maybe profit for you. So if we think that way, I can say to my projects, I will not be able to do that for 9 years with a lot of people. We had Canadian artists, UK artists, German artists living in Zagreb for a year, for a couple of months. We've been traveling through the whole world, looking for Tesla inspiration. Without monetas, it's impossible. But it wasn't profit for us. For us, profit was this life, this experience we did. And as long as we've been devoted ourselves completely and truthfully to that idea, to spread that idea, and to bring more quality intellectual elite people to speak out that idea, we were getting money easily, funds, whatever we need. When we fly to Japan just 2 weeks prior, we just applied for the grant and we got big grant. So we were, when we've been, that's what I said at the beginning, when we truthfully gave ourselves to that idea, some of us suffer a lot. It was exhausting, but the final result was always profiting for us as a people, as a person, as creatives, as whatever. And we think that our project, wherever it was presented so far, was spreading that energy, and that's the essence of Tesla, I think.
Es verdad que a nosotros nos ha funcionado con la exposición. Es un proyecto que presenta.
So this is what we do with this exhibition. This is actually what we do here with the exhibition. We try to widespread this project, these ideas, and we have this wonderful chance to have this exhibition, which is 40 times bigger than what could have done otherwise by our own means.
It's the same as mine in that when I embarked upon my film, I did it for a few $1,000s, but really it was the coming together of the entire crew. They all, the cast and crew, volunteered their time. And in Vancouver, it's a very supportive film community, but a lot of people in Vancouver volunteered on other people's films, and there's a bit of payback rather, when they do this sort of thing, and they expect some kind of return, maybe down the road as a job here or something, you know. But in this case, everyone responded because of Tesla. So they were all people that had heard of Tesla and signed up and said, oh yeah, let me be a part of this, because it meant something to everybody. And which is, I think, going to what you speak of, you know, it's people that are a little bit rebellious, you know, and they all want to channel that sort of rebellion into something, and this was the perfect thing for them.
I will talk on Serbian. Kod nas u Srbiji budžeta neke stvari i da rade samo iz potrebe da kad je u pitanju umjetnost, kao i što smo mi krenuli ovaj film u stvari da radimo. Već 2 godine smo otprilike radili potpuno bez budžeta.
La gente en Serbia está acostumbrada.
People in Serbia are used to giving their work for no money in exchange. So the people in the team, the film team, also worked as a volunteer with no budget. And after 2 years, what they had so far was enough to submit it to the organizers, to upstarters. And in that organization, Kickstarter, they won, or they raised 5 times more money than what they had before. At the beginning, his idea was to shoot the film with no money. And they wanted to turn the project into something bigger with more people, so they needed more money for the project. As an independent artist, you can always use technologies and they will help you shoot film with no budget or little budget. But having a proper budget, then you have the chance to hire people to work for you or with you, and then you can make something larger. Not very long ago, Branislav talked to a German director and he asked him how much money he had spent in the project. And when he found out how much it was, he couldn't believe it. They need very big budgets. It was 2 million euros to shoot 10 minutes of the film. And Branislav can shoot a whole film with those 2 millions.
Me gustaría que terminara este debate hablando de lo terrenal, si no vamos a hablar de lo divino. Pero lo divino a veces conecta con lo terrenal gracias a proyectos colectivos como estas campañas de crowdfunding. Bueno, gracias a las tecnologías, gracias al crowdfunding, estos proyectos o proyectos como estos se pueden llegar a desarrollar. Hay una gran campaña de crowdfunding relacionada con Tesla, que fue la que propulsó Matthew Inman, el bloguero de The Oatmeal, que tal vez algunos conocéis ese blog, el ilustrador. Y el título del blog, de la campaña era Let's Build a Goddamn Tesla Museum. Construyamos de una maldita vez un maldito museo Tesla. Y bueno, pretendía recuperar...
En realidad suena peor todavía, pero sí, bueno.
So the name Let's Build That Goddamn Tesla Museum, and the goal was to rescue that place so important where Tesla wanted to build his final project, the Warden Tower. And that broken dream, that broke when the tower fell, didn't stop there because the labs remained. And at some point, the building could have been torn down, although the building was protected because it was designed by a famous architect. So, at that point, the crowdfunding campaign was launched to preserve the building and put a Tesla museum in place, because there are no museums there. Even if he had the American citizenship, no one cared about his legacy or or about training or raising awareness in the American population about that genius who had lived there. This campaign managed to raise a big amount of money. It was the most important of its kind, and it raised $1.2 million in 10 days, which is amazing. And there were anonymous and individual people giving them money through time, through space, through ages. And you have a sample here with this exhibition. This is the largest exhibition of its kind so far. And it's being done in a Spanish institution, a country where Tesla was never, he was never here. And in spite of that, we're very active at creating new activities related to Tesla. So I think this is the mindset we need to keep. I think you're all well aware that we have a Serbian person, a Croatian person. In spite of the war and the recent history, Tesla can bring everyone together. Things that politicians can't manage, Tesla could and can. I think it's beautiful. Being here together, talking about Tesla, we would stay here much longer talking about this, but I would like to, we need to finish soon, and I would like to thank you for being here from so far to celebrate Tesla in a foreign land. And we hope we can meet again and keep meeting people in this secret Teslian society. And I also want to say something. This is the first activity of a very complete program of activities. And we're going to have many different things at this exhibition for all ages, for everyone. We're going to have a micro theater by Mr. Coyote. And it's a voyage, a trip into Tesla's mind. You have all the details on the leaflet and of course on Telefónica's website. There you can find all the information, and there you can find out about how to register, and do not miss it. I wouldn't. Thank you very much to all three. Thank you to everyone here, and we hope it's been nice and you had a good time. See you soon.
Exhibition, because I think for us it will be very difficult to summarize it well, to tackle on the right way all aspects of Tesla. You really did a great job.
Gracias.
Yeah, I think it was an honor to be invited.
Yes.
Thank you. Yeah.
It's one of the best, how to say, publicly open work of Tesla that I find out. Definitely.
Muchísimas gracias, eso lo valoramos mucho. Y gracias por supuesto a esta casa por...
Well, thank you everyone, and thank you to this house for becoming Tesla's house.
Yes, we want to. We
want
are the bosses.
We want also.
Sí, esa es nuestra pretensión.
That's our goal. That's our goal. We want this exhibition to travel, and we're going to work on that. We're going to work along with Telefónica Foundation and with you, because now you're ambassadors of this exhibition in your own countries. So thank you for that. And we hope that this exhibition will be presented in other places. Okay, we did this we just did this to as an excuse to be able to travel. We want to go and visit you. When we started we started off with this, where would we like to go? How about Vancouver? It would be so good. Let's find someone from Vancouver. And Zagreb as well, and we couldn't find anyone from the Caribbean, unfortunately.